Okay. And we are live. I'm guessing we are live. Doing a late one today. I had a prior commitment I had to do or I had to attend to rather, I should say. See, it says two are in the chat. One is probably me watching on the iPad. I don't know how long I'll go for. Maybe an hour, maybe just over an hour. We'll see how this goes. But yeah, happy Sunday. I know it's later than normal, so we'll be back to our normal schedule as of next week. Next Sunday, we'll be back at 3 p.m. Eastern to do the live stream. So I don't know if anybody is actually in the chat. This could be the worst possible time to stream because people are probably having dinner and, so if nobody comes in the chat, then I might even cut this short and then just resume the normal schedule next week at 3 p.m. Eastern. But what I do want to talk about, I didn't know what I was going to stream about today. I talked last week about Final Cut hacks. There's an app or a plugin. I shouldn't even say a plugin. It's like a hacky developer thing for Final Cut 12. And I know Final Cut got an update. I haven't done the update yet. Just because I'm kind of mid-production. I don't want to mess up anything. There's a massive video coming to the channel, which is taking a lot longer than I wanted to, but, such is life. I'm just double-checking that my overhead camera is working. I feel like it is. Yeah, it looks like it is. Okay. And we're going to play the whole stupid scene transition. I really got to remember to switch that to cut. Or at least the short one. But yeah, overhead camera is working. We'll switch to the short one. And this should go like that, like that. And yeah, we are back. Okay, we're set to quick cut. So yeah, in terms of Final Cut 12, if I were to switch over to my desktop, that app that I was using, it's called SpliceKit, which is hidden behind my mug. But if I open it, you'll see that we are running Final Cut Pro 12 and we are running SpliceKit version 3.1.7. And what's crazy, if I launch it, let's take a look here. They've added a whole bunch of enhancements, a dual timeline. I don't even know what some of this stuff is. What got me very interested was the social captions thing, because if you've ever used Final Cut, trying to do captions on videos is a hot mess. And this developer seems to have figured some stuff out. So I really want to mess around with that. Yeah, if you're watching and you're in the chat, let me know. Pop in, leave a comment. At least this way I can know if my mic's working properly or whatever the story is. But yeah. Yeah, so in terms of the SpliceKit implementation in Final Cut 12, they're trying to do a lot of stuff. Like, they're throwing like everything at this. And I don't even know if Apple's going to try to block what they're doing with the Final Cut updates. They released 12.2 earlier this week, although I don't know why they skipped 12.1. I've also resolved to the idea that Apple can't kill to save their lives, which is a whole thing. But yeah. So looks like I am talking to myself, unless I feel like Mark Harnum is listening, probably not able to chat, but he might be lurking, which is all good. But anyway, I am going to go back to my desktop for a second. So last week, this was the live stream test project. I'm just going to turn up my volume for 1 second. Okay, yeah. So I am streaming. Everything is all good there. Okay. And my audio sounds okay there. So this was what we did last week. And we got a bunch of missing footage, but that's okay. If I play this was the clip that I was using the text to edit situation, where I was basically using the transcription and then cutting around it. I'll demonstrate that again really quick. So basically here, let's take this clip, turn off the audio skimming. All right, we'll just drop you down here.
Simulator adventures. Text-based video editing could be...
Yeah, so I basically did a test clip where, like, I was talking to camera, I was talking to the chat, and I just read something, like I read some of the chats that were coming in, and yeah, it was all good. That was pretty cool. But then basically what happened was, if we switch back, we go to the computer, you could go up to this enhancements transcript editor, and then does it save it? Hang on, I want to retranscribe this. Oh, I just deleted everything. Hang on, let's do that again. Okay, let's go back to our transcript editor. So basically, somebody came up with this idea that you can transcribe and edit via text. So if you notice, as I move over the timeline, if you look over here, it's, I don't know how easy this is to see in the stream, but like there are words that are highlighted, and as I go through, it seems to highlight. So if I were to play it back,
Text-based video editing could be massive in the future.
Okay, so text-based editing could be massive in the future. So if I were to go here and delete everything possibly, trying to use a bigger cursor for those who are watching the stream because it makes life a lot easier. Okay, so S1, I'm assuming means speaker 1. So
text-based video editing could be massive in the future, but I wouldn't trust it enough. Okay. Then simulate.
So I want to get rid of all this fluff. The part where it says a test would be cool. Let's just delete that. Now let's play it.
I wouldn't trust it enough. A test would be cool. Then Lockpick jumped in with Happy Easter. Just finished my thing. Oh, I have no ideas from Simulator. Lockpick says
everything I wanted to type will get you shut down. Let's delete from it's never recommended. And yeah.
A test would be cool. It's never recommended to read anything I type out loud. LOL.
Okay. I said okay there. You want let's delete that too.
Type out loud. LOL. Okay.
And we'll just snip the end off.
I type out loud. LOL.
All right. I'm going to close this transcript editor because I saw something in this new update that's kind of dope. And delete the beginning off.
Text-based video.
Okay, so we have our clip right here. If I go up to enhancements, there's social captions. Right? And what I really like is I was messing with this for like a couple of minutes before I started the stream, and it looks like it retained the settings I had, which is dope. So basically, there's a cap on the side, so we'll make it that big. And then the outline is like that. It's black, but let's change the color of the outline. Let's make our outline like turquoise. Sure. And then can okay, I kind of get this. And there's like a shadow blur. You can really customize this. You can really dial it in. We'll leave it at black, which is fine. The shadow blur. See, if I make the outline too big, you basically can't see the text. But basically, so you would just, you would set your parameters here. You could set it to all caps if you wanted to, like that. And I'm going to tell it to transcribe. So it looks like it already did it, 31 words and 11 segments. And if I click generate captions, it looks like it threw everything down there. So let's take a look at what it did.
Text-based video editing could be massive in the future, but I wouldn't trust it enough. A test would be cool.
That is so pain-free. Oh, this could be dope for social media stuff. Yeah.
A test would be cool. It's never recommended to read anything I type out loud.
It's a little bit late. So if I were to go in here, let's just delete this little piece here.
Text-based video editing could be massive in the future, but
it's a little bit of a
could be massive in the future.
You said in the future. See, it has like a little gap there. So let's just pull you there.
In the future, but I wouldn't trust it enough. A test would be cool. It's never recommended to read anything I type out loud. LOL.
That is sick. That is crazy. because like Apple won't, not to say won't, I want to be careful how I word this. They haven't implemented proper like social media titles, like not captioning, because the idea of captioning is for like closed captions, which is like the thing you press on your TV to pull up captions for those with hearing impairment, which that's fine, that's great for accessibility, but for the social media landscape, like this situation with titles like that, and then the fact that like by default it's highlighting the words as I'm saying them.
Text-based video editing could be massive in the future, but I wouldn't trust it enough. A test would be cool.
That little jump cut there is where I was text editing. So I guess the only thing that sucks is if you commit your stuff, I guess you would pull this.
A test would be.
So here, let's pull this back.
A test would.
So that's where we need to blade there. And delete.
A test would be cool.
Oh, I don't know why I did that. You know what? If you're going to do the edits, maybe just delete all the titles and rerun it. So
a test would be cool. It's never recommended to read any.
Blade and blade. All right, so let's see how this plays.
Text-based video editing could be massive.
See, here's the thing. Like, when I learn anything in Final Cut, generally, like production generally, like, I kind of work out a workflow. So, for example, like, I'm messing around here. So, I've realized quickly that the first thing I have to do is do all of my rough editing first before I run the captioning. And I'm learning this in real time, like right now on stream. So if we go back, let's play it again.
Text-based video editing could be massive in the future, but I wouldn't trust it enough. A test would be cool. It's never recommended to read anything I type out loud, LOL.
You know, let's just throw some black space on the end, which is being hilariously dumb.
Loud, LOL.
Okay, so we got some black space on the end, so let's just blade that and eventually get rid of it. Okay, so we'll go back up to our enhancements and let's hit social captions and let's make it all caps and you can group it by words, by sentence, by time, or by characters. What happens if you do by characters? Hang on, we'll transcribe it, generate captions.
Text-based video editing could be massive in the future, but I wouldn't.
See, it still does this thing where like it adds like little gaps.
Text-based video editing could be massive in the future, but I wouldn't trust it enough.
Yeah, it is a little late. It does leave a gap at the beginning, but I'm going to be a little aggressive and I'm going to get rid of even more of it.
Text-based video editing could be massive in the future, but I wouldn't trust it enough. A test would be.
I don't know what happened there when I bladed.
Text-based video editing could be massive in the future, but I wouldn't trust it enough. A test would be cool. It's never recommended to read anything I type out loud, LOL.
Okay, so I noticed when I cut this clip, it tripped out on the... Yeah, like it moves this one up for some reason. You know what? I wonder why it did that. This one looks fine. That's so weird. The problem is if I just blade that and I pull this back, it's not going to line up.
Text-based video.
See, like I said text-based, but it's not lighting it up, which is not wonderful. Yeah. By the way, if there's anybody in chat watching me just like toil with this, let me know, because yeah. If nobody comes in the chat in like the next, say, 15, 20 minutes, I'll probably jump off.
Text-based video.
Yeah, I don't know why it does that. Huh. Again, this is like super alpha, like not production ready stuff, but it's really cool to mess with to see the potential of what Apple could do or what developers could come up with. So if we go back.
Text-based video editing.
I'm going to rerun it. Let's see. Oh, did we get a chat that came in? This looks cool and promising. Hey, the Rusty Car 368. I don't recognize the name, but welcome to the live stream. Yeah, this is pretty dope. Like if you use Final Cut, this really looks sick. Like I don't know if you caught the first part. Oh, it's your first time here. Very cool. Yeah, I'm doing this live stream thing. If you've ever been on the channel before, I'm just like, you know, I'm a tech reviewer, but like I love content creation. I use Final Cut, obviously. But yeah, there's a lot of cool things here. So like, I don't know if you saw earlier, I was doing the text-based editing with this SpliceKit hack for Final Cut 12. But basically, I just deleted the captions. So let's rerun them again, right? So we got a bunch of styles here. I can change the color of the highlight. Yeah, let's make the highlight blue. That's funky. The shadow. Oh, you can make the shadow white, so it's almost like a emboss. That's pretty cool. And I see a Naya print. Hi, how are you? Can I ask you a question? No, you may not. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. Naya print. All good. I'm just going to get back to this here, though. So, okay, so we'll do that. And let's generate it by words. And let's group 2 words at a time per group. Transcribe. That's running. Oh. Hang on. Does this... Oh, it saves your transcript. Okay. Oh, that's cool. It's saved in SRT. That is actually pretty awesome. Okay. And then you could always save it to a text file or SRT. Oh, that's handy. I like that. Let's generate our captions, and it put it
Massive in the future.
Yeah. Okay, so the thing I just realized, you have to move the playhead to the beginning, which might be why it was acting up earlier. Transcribe again. Generate. Okay, let's try that.
Text-based video editing could be massive in the future, but I wouldn't trust it enough.
Okay, it's a little bit off. So you know what? Let's pull this instead.
Text-based video editing could be massive in the future.
Yep, it still does that thing. Okay, here. Let's see. I love that the chat isn't coming. Oh, it's just not scrolling. So do you remember I purchased the XLR Mark II dock? So you want to know what's going on with the dog. I'm assuming you mean dock. All right, don't listen to that. All right, do you remember I purchased the dock while the screws that I had for my Strength That Plus, I'm assuming you mean Stream Deck Plus, does not keep the dock tight. And if you move the table, it turns off. I don't know if the... Naya print, I just want to understand this. The XLR Mark II dock might not be compatible with the Stream Deck Plus XL. I think that's what you might be running up on. Yeah, they probably have to release a version. That might be the issue that you're running up on. I'm going to come back in the Final Cut while we discuss that. Or I can crash Final Cut when I was switching back. That's fun. That's the thing with using developer software, right? Things just break. Yeah, it crashed. So again, this is SpliceKit version 3.17. That's why there's 2 Final Cuts in my dock. One is a duplicated modded version. Okay, so good thing about Final Cut is that it saves everything. I'm actually going to retranscribe this because for a couple of reasons. Social captions. The first thing we want to do is move our playhead to the beginning, right? The second thing we're going to do is we're going to change this highlight because that's too bright to read. At least with my current background. You know what's sad is like the original highlight color was fine and I completely lost it, I think. I'll go a little brighter on that. Okay. So let's transcribe again. All right, 3 words. I'm going to try that as 2 words. Transcribe, generate. Okay, so let's go back into Final Cut and see what it did. I'm probably going to have to delete that.
Text-based video editing could be massive in the future, but I wouldn't trust it enough.
See, when it says trust, it's a little bit off, but I don't want to change all of this. Okay, now your print. Let me see what you said here. You said no. I have two Stream Deck plus the original. The screws that not match my new dock XLR. It has a gap. If you tap the table, it turns off. Oh, that sucks. What did Elgato support say? And while we do that, let me come back here. Okay, when I answer the chat, Final Cut just decides to crash, which is great and fun. That's funny. Okay, Anaya, I'll come back to you in a sec. Just comment and I'll take a look in a second. But here are the captions we generated.
Text-based video editing could be massive in the future, but I wouldn't trust it enough.
Okay, so we know that that's a little bit off, so I'm going to aggressively move it a few frames in.
Text-based video editing could be massive in the future, but I wouldn't trust it enough. A test would be cool. It's never recommended to read anything I type out loud, LOL.
Okay, that's pretty sick. I wonder. There are some, like, I know Bread Effects made like a caption titling font, like a whole toolkit to do this, where you could put like a black box around each word. So I'm wondering if somehow he can implement, or if he might already be working on it, because knowing Brett, he's kind of a mad person. I'm going to close Final Cut for now because the chances of it crashing when I'm answering chat is probably pretty high, because it's lots of weird developer stuff going on here. Let me close SpliceKit as well. Yeah, Anaya Print, have you spoken with Elgato technical support? Because that doesn't sound like it's supposed to do that. At least that's my take on that. So just to reiterate your comment, I have the Stream Deck Plus XL. All right, I thought it was a screw that's missing, that it has a gap, so I bought a replacement screw, and it does the same thing. It has a gap when you bang the... It might be something else. Yeah, I don't know. See, here's the problem, is that I don't own either of those devices, so I can't even comment. If you bang the table or move the table, because I have to... Yeah, I don't know how to help you, man. I only say that because I'm not familiar with that specific product, if that makes sense. So unfortunately, I don't have the means to assist in this. I am hearing more people are complaining about open seals. Reddit is convinced that it's a conspiracy theory that apparently mine didn't have knife marks on it, even though I showed it in the picture and the videos and whatever. It's fine. I don't like this whole fanism thing where people like get super fanaticized about a company. It's kind of unreal. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, I don't know. Anaya, I guess reach out to customer support. Like, I don't have an answer for you, because like I can't speak on things that I'm not privy to. Like, I can't, like, I could speak about things like the Plus XL, because I have it, right? I could speak about the original XL, which is on the table right here, right? I could speak about that. But like, I can't, like, Anaya, I unfortunately can't speak to the devices that you've purchased, because I don't own either of those. Duke Seb, hey Mixer, I would have been here sooner, but got held up by YouTube ads. I have a question, because there was a thing this week about not just YouTube Premium being raised in price, but apparently YouTube is claiming there's a glitch right now with TV, that there are 90-second unskippable ads right now. So I'm curious, are you watching on a television, or are you watching on your computer or your phone or a tablet? Let me know. I'm a YouTube Premium guy. I've had YouTube Premium so long that it was YouTube Red when I got it. Like, it's been like a decade, and when I see ads, it's like, oof. Like, I've seen how the YouTube UI looks as a free user, and I understand that not a lot of people see the value in paying for premium. The thing is, like, outside of the occasional sports that I watch, I'm not really one to like watch traditional TV. Okay, so you're on your phone. Okay, interesting. So you're telling me they're raising YouTube Premium how much? It depends where you are. Let me check. I'm going to give me one sec. Let's load the browser, which is probably trying to update. Hang on a sec. I'm trying to go to my public profile. Public. Okay. YouTube Premium price increase. Let's go to Forbes. Become a Forbes member. No, I'm good. Let's see. It denies claims that it's adding unskippable 90-second ads for TV viewers. Yeah, that's what I was just mentioning to Duke. I won't pay for it. I'm taking subscriptions out of my life. I'm done the Netflix and 200 gigs of iCloud. Hey, that is completely fair, Duke. I completely get it. Was it Duke who commented that? Yeah, it was Duke. Okay, it's making sure. Okay, like, stop prompting me for, like, everybody wants a subscription. Okay, premium will hike its price by $2 per month to $15.99. YouTube family plan, which allows you to add 5 family members, previously cost 22, will cost 26. Let's see. So YouTube's cheaper subscription plan does not include access to YouTube Music, is $8.99. $11.99 for YouTube's. Will allow the company to continue delivering a high quality experience that supports creators and artists on YouTube. Okay. Here's my problem with that narrative. People don't see what goes into making a video. It's not a thing, right? So the problem I have with this statement, this price hike is the first is 2023 to continue delivering high quality experience that supports creators and artists on YouTube. Okay. I think I took a picture of a timeline. Let me see if I can pull this up. Okay. So you guys may have seen I was just messing around in Final Cut, but I want to show you what some of the next video looks like. Let me just airdrop this to myself, and I will demonstrate just how crazy this can get. Okay, so I can't open airdrop settings on a profile that's not logged in. Are we serious right now? Wow. Airdrop, everyone. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's pull up this picture and I will show you what a timeline looks like. This is a picture, a screenshot of a timeline. So my problem, they got to pay for those AI servers somehow. Yeah, seriously. Google, YouTube, all of them. Listen, the enshittification is real. So this is a Final Cut timeline. It's part, and I say this, it's part of the next video. So my big issue is when, YouTube makes statements like, continue delivering a high quality experience that supports creators and artists on YouTube. The problem is that unless I get a sponsor, which I actually did secure a sponsor for this video, I would probably make a grand total of like $150 for the year for this video. I'm not sure if it's because of the 30% cut or the way they serve ads, but I feel like creators are not getting pardon me. It's late in the day. The thing is, like, creators are not, I won't say they're not getting their just due, like they're not getting what they deserve, but like if you put together like really high-end content, you really, really, really have to like blow up your channel and get a ton of views for the dollars to start making sense. Starting June 7th, 2026, it's going to be $26.99. Yeah. See, I'm in Canada, so I don't know. Let's see. Actually, let's look for that. YouTube, spell it properly. YouTube Premium price increase Canada. Okay, so it looks like, well, that's the AI thing. Do we have a Canadian answer? Throw Canada in. Yahoo. Okay, so Yahoo News Canada. Yeah, going up in the US, that tells me nothing. Yeah, so far it looks like it's just US based. That's fun and annoying. I mean, in terms of like, what kills me is like, I'm in one sense I'm glad that Canada's not getting the increase yet, although it's inevitable. We're gonna get it. There's no stopping that. But the flip side of that is like, if you're trying to make experiences better for the creators, like those who are not based in the US, like not all of us have a major US audience. So it does nothing for us. My thing is that if you're going to raise it like that, then you should really be instead of taking 30%, you should be taking 20% and give creators more. If you're going to use like, terms like, again, continue delivering high quality experience that supports creators and artists on YouTube, then take 20%. Like don't sit there, you know, like don't sit there and make comments like, "Oh, well, we're going to take care of creators," because that's not it. Again, it's to Duke's point, right? Duke said they got to pay for those AI servers somehow, you know. And then you've got like what is the AI video agent for Google? What is it? Vio? Which they're injecting into YouTube in all sorts of manners. So I don't know. This is a dystopian hellscape. It makes you look around your room of video equipment and then wonder what decisions you've made in your life. That's kind of what I'm starting to feel when I look around the room, knowing how AI is right now. But it is what it is. I see 5 people. I think 3 have commented. I don't know if the Rusty Car new viewer, if the Rusty Car is still here, but I know Anaya Print, Duke Seb, the Rusty Car, they were chatting. As soon as I called it out, as soon as I said there was 5 people, 2 of them left. So now it says there's 3 people. Awesome. Yeah. Anaya Print, are you a YouTube Premium subscriber? Because you brought up this. That's starting June 2026. It's going to be $26.99. I'm also wondering, did they say? Okay, yes, I am from 2020. So Anaya Print has been subscribed to YouTube Premium since 2020. Which, hey, I guess that's part of the boom, right? During the pandemic. 9 to 5 Google has a very interesting take on this. They wrote, YouTube Premium is the only streaming service that can get away with price hikes. I don't know, man. People watch Netflix like crazy, and they tend to raise their prices a lot. Price hikes in streaming are annoyingly inevitable in 2026. Yeah, so Anaya Print, I'm assuming you're on a family plan, because according to this, the individual is going to go up $2 because you mentioned $26.99. My reaction to this news was, well, all right then. Kind of a nothing burger. Okay. Weird thing to say. YouTube Premium is probably the most valuable streaming subscription. YouTube is part of my daily routine. Okay, this is obviously a commentary piece. I was hoping they would confirm. Where did you see the date, Anaya Print? Where did you see that information? Because I am curious. Let me just Google that date actually. So you said it was June 7, 2026. YouTube Premium price hike. Okay, so Mac rumors. And in June for existing subscribers. Oh, so it's already okay. So if you're not subscribed and you try to subscribe, the new price is already in effect, and then the rest of us are going to see it in June. And again, in the US, it doesn't specify Canada, which is weird. Okay. And I got it from ChatGPT. Okay, I'm gonna give you a heads up. I never, ever, 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 ever trust ChatGPT to give me anything that's supposed to be factual. That's why, like, I pay for ChatGPT, but I'm not using ChatGPT. I don't use ChatGPT to get information because it hallucinates all the time. Like, I've had like screaming matches with ChatGPT because it can be so out of pocket and completely hallucinating about things. Duke Seb says, I'm on the fence about getting rid of Netflix and going with Disney. That's the and this is what they want, right? This is what these content farms, and that's what I'm going to call them. They want, that's what they want. That's why, like, you look at the whole debacle. What was it? The Warner catalog, Netflix buying Warner and all that stuff. They're trying to acquire all these intellectual properties, but the reality is, like, they're doing that so that people will just switch. Because yeah, it doesn't sound like a lot of money, like, you know, $10.99, $11.99, whatever, but like you multiply that by a ton of people and it starts to make a ton of sense really fast. Duke Seb says, I actually moved from GPT to Gemini. It seems more stable, and I'm finding Claude is pretty good for code. You know, I've been debating. I've been actually heavily debating leaving ChatGPT for Claude, or for not Claude, sorry, for Gemini. The thing I use it the most for, to be honest, is I feed it my YouTube analytics after I post a video, which I haven't done in like a month. I haven't posted anything in like a month outside of the live streams. Not because I'm not working. In fact, I have a very big video with a sponsor and some additions to it. Like you saw that timeline. It's crazy. But I would feed my my analytics to ChatGPT and have it go through, and it would tell me things like it would look at my graphs, like my retention graph and things like that, which is kind of cool. Just because, like, I'm kind of alone in this creator space, and I don't want to like annoy people and constantly, like, I'm guilty of that. I annoy people and send them texts and this and that, and you know, it's kind of a lonely place to sit in terms of getting feedback, like quality feedback. So I'm just like, all right, well, me and the clankers, me and the robots are gonna have to get down with the get down, and you know, learn to get along, because I don't have a huge network of people I can talk to about the analytics stuff that are at least on my schedule. So there's that. Holy crap! This light, you know how hard it is for me to film when the light puts you to sleep. And the thing is, I don't want to change the light because the light actually looks pretty decent. That is super annoying. I'm going to call it out. We're going to watch the number fall together. If you look at the amount of people watching, it says there's 5. That number is going to change now that I brought it up. If you are watching and lurking, feel free to leave a comment. Engagement helps, obviously. Yeah. Again, if you're not able to, it's fine. It's whatever. Yeah, no, I'm, like I said, Claude is interesting. We saw the news this week about, what was it, Claude releasing that, like, that tool that's supposed to like help in terms of what is it? Malicious AI agents. Let's see. Anaya Prince says, I do my videos using AI because I get nervous getting on camera, so I use AI to explain everything for me. I don't know why. Okay, that's fine. I mean, the thing is, okay, honest opinion, you got to break through that. You just got to look at the camera and just go. Like, I don't even like being on camera. Okay, like it might look like I like being on camera. I hate being on camera, but it's something, right? But I wouldn't rely on AI because like it is still very, very new. Um, this is my own opinion. This is not objective, fact-based advice. This is strictly subjective. This is my point of view. I think AI hallucinates a little too much for us to rely on it. Like everybody raves about how things are getting good, and yeah, they are. But like, as of what's today, the 12th of April in 2026. There's still a lot of hallucinating that happens within AI, and it just like I wouldn't use it as a fact checker. I will not use it as a Google search because even when you tell it to deep search and like run for a while, like deep research, it still freaks out and gives you the wrong info. And then you click on the links that it pulled up, and it's like it completely contradicts what ChatGPT told you, and you're just like, what is this, right? So I don't think it's a reliable source of information. That's my own opinion. Others may say the same. Like I find on Reddit when anybody says I look this is the AI answer, it gets like downvoted to the moon. So I wouldn't rely on it. Like Duke Seb says, like with anything, the pendulum is always crazy at the beginning and then it moves to a normal. It moves more to normal after a time. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's everything starts off amazing. Like 4K video is a good example. Everybody was like, "Oh, this is the future. This is whatever." But like then 1080p premium came out, and even some 1080p looks better than some people's 4K video. And I find that like the hype is always huge at the beginning, right? So it's kind of like this stream. Like I was originally streaming in 4K, but the delay was awful. And I'm looking at this on the iPad right now. Yeah, this is I'm in 1080, right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I'm watching it in 1080. That's what I'm streaming in. It looks fine. And yeah, that number went down as I said it was going to. Yeah, so the beginning of AI, like, there's that hype, right? I think it's just amazing that like people's search habits have definitely changed. Like if I was looking up the Stream Deck before this AI thing, I would type like Stream Deck Plus XL MSRP release date Canada. That's how I would search it. Now you can like easily jump on Google and type in like when is the Stream Deck Plus XL coming to Canada with a question mark. And like Google's AI is smart enough to understand the context of the search query being a question. So that kind of stuff's kind of cool. But again, like even then, I don't read the AI overview. It just happens to serve the right articles written by human beings after I search that way, which is pretty cool. Anaya Prince says, yes, you're correct, because when I put my script there to AI, it doesn't match. Add to rewrite until AI do it this way, follow directions, and then AI works sometimes. That's the thing. And like, it's not a reliable, it's not like, the companies are all like purporting that this is like your sidekick or like your assistant and all this stuff, not to give Apple any credit with this, but I will say that it's kind of a good thing that they didn't implement. Could you imagine if ChatGPT was like at the core of Apple Intelligence and SIRI? It would be awful. Like maps would be driving you off cliffs officially. Like instead of it, and the thing is, people are so lazy to do their due diligence that before, when Apple Maps would like freak out and give you the wrong directions, you'd be like, oh, it tried to take me off a cliff, but I loaded Google Maps and everything was fine. The way people use AI now is like they'll just drive off the cliff. So in some ways I'm kind of glad that Apple didn't like forge forward and when they were pushing Apple Intelligence back at WWDC 2024, I'm kind of glad that, like, because I'll be honest, like, how do I put this? I don't even know a nice way to put this. Some people, a lot of people are pretty damn stupid, right? Like, one of my favorite catchphrases that I tend to say in my daily life is, why are people stupid? Like, I'll be driving and somebody will like almost hit me and then they'll like jump a curb. And like, I'm that guy that'll roll the window down and be like, bro, what was your end game? What the hell were you trying to accomplish? The thing is, like, I can't speak to what people are going through and all that, but I can say this, that as a society, people have gotten extremely reliant on technology that they don't even want to have self-awareness. And I feel like there would be, if Apple had pushed forward with Apple Intelligence in the current state of AI, even as of today, April 12th, if they release that tomorrow, there'd be fatalities by the end of the week. I'm confident in that. Obviously I'm speculating, but I'm speculating from a fairly confident place that things would just be nuts. So I'm kind of glad they didn't go down that road yet. Although I'm very curious and also trepidatious and a little bit sad. Oh no, Duke, I know. No. I'm talking about like 2024 when they made the deal with OpenAI and ChatGPT. But it doesn't matter if they go with Gemini, or if they go with OpenAI, or they go with like Claude or whatever. I think that people are so reliant on AI that they're substituting self-awareness and the ability to search stuff on their own with AI. And I was about to say, like, I'm a little trepidatious, a little sad, and I'm curious, even though it's from a morbid place, of how bad it's going to be, how bad the reports are going to be when, Siri is, I said it, somebody's phone went off, when SIRI is implemented fully. Let's see, Duke is typing here. I'm not happy with them going out of their company for AI, neither. See, and that's the thing, is like, Apple is known as the most secure company, and that's why SIRI sucks, because they try to do everything on device, which keeps it safe, but it doesn't work well when it's only on device. Anaya Prince says, I heard rumors that Apple and Google are going to work together. I don't know if it's true. No, it's true. It's true. Hi, Sean. Yes, we must keep deductive reasoning skills. I almost said destructive reasoning skills. That would have been awful. By the way, children of Yashral, what up? Hi, Sean. Yes, we must keep deductive reasoning skills and the desire to question everything as tech goes. See, Anaya Print, this should be your mission statement. What Children of Yashral just wrote. Because, like, I know you said you checked ChatGPT. I haven't seen any articles that reference when the YouTube Premium price hike happens. And that June, what was it you said? June 7th, I want to say, was the date that you gave. I haven't seen that listed anywhere, and it makes me question the credibility of June 7th being the day that they raise the prices for existing members for YouTube Premium. Yeah, that's the thing. And again, to Children of Yashral's point, like, you need to question everything. Look, here's the thing. Like, that's my desktop. See, I was going to do it there. I have my Stream Deck, and I program this thing with everything. Everything I use, like, not this specific layout, like in my daily driving profile on my MacBook. I've programmed it the way I want it, but even then, like, there are times that I'm like, what did I do? Like, something broke. And even when I use it, it's like, I'm still a little skeptical when I press certain buttons. I'm like, I'm definitely more confident in it these days. But even now, like, I was working with some stuff today and I pressed the button and I'm like, before I pressed it, a part of me was like, is this going to work? And then I, hit it and I was like, okay, it worked, but like with tech, you can't rely on the idea that things are just going to work. The Apple slogan that they used to use was like, it just works. That is far from a thing. I know people who they got their first iPhone and they didn't have any services with anybody. Like, they didn't even have an online profile. They're young people, right? Like my friends kids and that, who got their first Apple device. or some who got like their first Samsung. And during the setup, things would just break. And it's like, oh, this is a good way to like introduce people or get people like, into their ecosystem. It's like when you get like, nebulous responses from your devices that say an unknown error occurred. Well, back in my day, you would see an error and they would give you an error code. And at the very least, you could research the error code and see if other people have the same issue or, you know what I mean? So, again, to, really dive into Children of Yasharal's point here, you have to use deductive reasoning and you have to question everything. That doesn't mean you got to put a tinfoil hat on and think everybody's out to get you and all that stuff. I'm not going to go to that degree, but I am going to say that relying on things, you really have to do some deep research on something before you can heavily rely on anything. So that was for Anaya Print. And speaking of Anaya Print, actually it's happening right now. YouTube just announced okay, but if you're a new subscriber, Anaya, you're not watching the stream, are you? Because I literally just said this. I literally, I said it right here. Right? I was talking about this, and I said the increase takes effect immediately for new subscribers and in June for existing. But again, they don't specify if it's just the US. It looks like at the moment it's just the US. But let's see here. If you're an existing customer, you should have received the email letting you know. Okay, but Anaya, can you please specify your source? Because you've said that you use ChatGPT. So, it's not an AI source, not the AI overview from Google, none of that stuff. Like, you gotta specify, because again, if you're relying on AI, as we were just talking about, then I can question the accuracy. Because again, you also mentioned June 7th, and I don't see anything about June 7th anywhere. Yeah. All right. Let's see what time we got here. 6:52 p.m. Eastern. I don't know. Maybe I'll stay on for like another 15, 20 minutes. It's kind of a quiet stream tonight. I had some other commitments this evening that I had to tend to, or this day I had to tend to, so I couldn't be on at the normal 3 o'clock slot. That being said, regularly scheduled programming will return next Sunday. We'll be back at 3 p.m. But yeah, I'll stay on for a little bit now if you guys want to talk. Hassan, hey, Tech Mixer. How you doing? How's your day been? I'm assuming you saw the story on Instagram that I moved the stream. Why do you use Final Cut over DaVinci? Okay, I have like a myriad of reasons. The first is I learned on Final Cut, and I had bought so many plugins that I really don't want to repurchase for DaVinci. The second is I got really fast in Final Cut. That's the thing, is like I'm obscenely fast in Final Cut. What you guys don't know is, like, in my day job, like, my main contractor knows how fast I am in Final Cut 10. Sorry, Final Cut now 12. It's been the same interface since 10. Can we just call it Final Cut 12 or 10 or whatever the hell? Yeah, I'm really fast in it. I really, I'm at a place in my life where, if I'm going to learn a new piece of software, it has to be, leaps and bounds over what I can do currently with the current software. So for me, yes, DaVinci can do a lot of things, but I have a ton of plugins that I got before DaVinci was updated to do certain things. And and I'll be honest, I'm stubborn and comfortable. So Hassan says, I pay $39.99 Australian dollars for YouTube Premium. I haven't received the price increase email. Yeah, because all the sites are reporting that it's US only at the moment. Eventually, it's going to happen to all of us. Like, I'm in Canada, obviously, right? So, yeah. But yeah, Chester, yeah, there's nothing wrong with DaVinci. Let me make that abundantly clear, too. I am not saying this from a place. And again, DaVinci is probably better. But, for productivity at the speed that I work at right now, it would have so much friction for me to pick up DaVinci and try to learn it. And also the amount of dollars I have spent and have continued to spend on plugins on the Final Cut ecosystem. Just the financial side of it makes no sense for me to switch. However, when I've talked to people who are getting into content creation, sometimes in my social life, sometimes while I'm working, like I work remotely a lot. So I run up on a lot of younger people who are getting into content creation who see me editing and they're like, oh, what are you doing? Like, I want to get into that. And I'll recommend DaVinci because of the free tier. Learn on DaVinci because DaVinci is amazing. Like Final Cut, like Apple takes so long to do. We're gonna torture ourselves again. Hang on one moment. I'm gonna switch back to my desktop. This is like a typical timeline. This is for a project that I'm actually doing for the channel. Yeah, just a screenshot here. So Final Cut Originals right here, and then the modded version using SpliceKit is here. SpliceKit is like this hack that somebody figured out. And I'm going to do this again. So we got text-based video editing. Let's do this from scratch because you guys are just coming in. I'm going to take this whole clip, drop you on the timeline. Okay. So one of the things that this developer made is a transcript editor. So I'm going to retranscribe this whole thing. It uses Parakeet. And basically, one sec. Let's see here. I just see the story, but I'm bad with time zones, living down under. It's almost 9 a.m. here Monday morning. I'll start my day job. Oh, geez. Okay, well, Hassan, I appreciate you supporting and coming in. That is dope. Yeah, but I actually want to show Chester. Yeah, so Chester, check this out. So I know let me be clear, I know other editors have text-based editing, but the fact that someone built this, and they probably use Claude or something, or maybe they're just a sick developer, I can't speak to that, but they built a text editor. So, like, let me turn this volume up. Whoops. Go back my time here. So you'll notice that as I scrub, you'll see the highlight. I don't know how well this is showing up on the stream. Let me full screen my stream so I can actually see if it will let me. Yeah, you can see like where it says simulator, it's highlighted. And as I move around, let me mute this for a moment. You'll see that it follows it. But they basically created a text editor, but it does there's a couple of things that this does. And this is a free, completely free plugin. It's, to be clear, it's alpha. Apple could shut this down at any time because it required modifying the Final Cut 10 app bundle. But check this out. So let's go back. If I can pull it back up here, my transcript editor. Okay, so I'm gonna go in here, and this was what I recorded last week, and I just updated this thing. So we're just gonna delete from there, right? It leaves a little space. Let's get rid of that too.
And I'm just gonna read random chats that it came in. So let's start up here. We'll go to Simulator Adventures, text-based video.
Okay, so let's get rid of this whole part where I was like, So here, we'll go here, here, and let's just delete all that. And you'll notice the timeline is being chopped.
Random chats that it came in. So let's base video came in.
So let me just trim this down.
It came in. Base video edit.
I did this wrong. I'm probably going to break everything doing this, but that's okay.
Came in. Text.
See, like, I'm just freely editing. But I'm curious, is this going to keep up?
It came in. Text-based video editing could be massive in the future, but I wouldn't trust it enough. Okay.
Let's get rid of, okay. Let's see. Oh, we got a new chat. Hi Tech Mixer, I'm building a studio in home with 2 ZVE10 cameras and 2 Obshot Tail 2s. What would you recommend? The Blackmagic A10 Mini Extreme G2 or the Yellow Box Extreme as a switcher for YouTube? I have a different way I would think of this. What's your storage like for each camera? For example, what was it you said here? The Obsbot Tails 2. Do they have onboard storage? I'll explain why I'm asking that in a second. But here, let's go back up to Chester. If Chester's still here, I want to kind of demonstrate. Oh, Chester is still here. That's fair. Probably is not as important as well if you don't utilize a heap of the more advanced fusion features in DaVinci, like the banger color grading in DaVinci mostly. Here's the thing. A while ago, I bought Color Finale, which is like Wish.com's equivalent of color grading in Final Cut. Sorry, the Wish.com DaVinci Resolve color grading in Final Cut, if that makes sense. It's cool. It lets you export LUTs. You get all the wheels, like the same kind of idea. Unfortunately, the profile that I'm using right now, this is not my daily driver profile. This is so that I don't dox myself with personal information. So all my stuff here is kind of stock. Even my shortcuts for Final Cut are driving me nuts right now. But here, I want to show you this though, because check this out. Because people made free stuff for this. Let's see here. Text is cool though. Does Final Cut have an auto remove silences of voice isolation feature? Voice isolation, yes. That's something that's been built in for a while. It's actually very, very good. However, auto silence removal is not a thing, but this plugin seems to do it. Although I don't know how well it. Let's try it. Hang on.
Then Simulator Adventures also said I would be checking every fine detail. And then a test would be cool. Then Lockpick jumped in with...
Okay, so it's not Easter anymore, so I'm going to get rid of that. So just finish my thing. Right.
And then a test would be cool. Then Lockpick said cool.
I said then there. So just chop that.
Cool. Lockpick says everything I want. Says everything.
We'll just cut from everything. Okay.
This would be cool. Everything I want to type will get you shut down, and it's never recommended to read anything I type out loud.
Okay, so we got this now. It says up here we have a delete silences button. I'm gonna be clear. This is probably gonna break. Let's have fun. Let's try this. Delete silences. Oof.
Cool. So let's stop recording.
Yeah, that's broken. That's funny. I probably have to do delete silences before I start editing. So let's see here. In terms of audio talking headshots, the primary features I use in DaVinci Resolve are voice isolation, music remixer to scrub vocals from a backing track and then remove silences. Yeah, that's the thing is like here's the thing is that I have gotten so used to round tripping things. I've done it for so many years, so I don't mind doing it. But I can definitely understand people who want that all in like one app. They don't want to like be round tripping stuff because that can get like extremely annoying. Here, I want to come back to this. I see another comment from the scene of the conversation. Oswald Tales 2 has 1 terabyte of onboard. ZV-10 uses 128 gig cards. Okay. This is going to be tough to swallow because of the price of memory right now, so I apologize. I don't like using switchers, and I'll explain why. Watch this. I'm using a switcher right now. Right now, this is just OBS, right? So we're just using OBS to live stream. If I'm recording something for YouTube, though, I like to record all the angles, and I'll show you why. If I was switching live, Chester, I'll explain that in just a sec. Let me just finish this comment here. Okay, so I'm on the overhead camera, but let's say I was recording and basically I was using the overhead camera, but I forgot that I wasn't on my A cam and I was recording and I wasn't recording in the camera itself. Well, now my footage of me talking to camera and making a bunch of faces and whatever is lost forever, right? Like I switch back now. What I'm saying is the problem with using a switcher is good when you're live streaming. This is subjective, my opinion, right? So a switcher is good when you're live streaming like this. Like if you want to be like, hey, let's look at the computer, or hey, let's, look at the overhead, or this, or let's look at the iPad, or whatever the case, right? That's fine. But when you're recording, the problem is that if you mess up and you have the wrong angle, your whole recording could go straight to hell. Where I'm a proponent of using a multicam workflow where you have 4 cameras in your case, so you put all 4 cameras in the timeline and you create what's called a multicam, which it sounds technical and hard. It's actually not so bad. It's actually pretty cool. So round tripping is like when, okay, round tripping is kind of a term. So, let me just get back to this for a second. For the scene of the conversation, yeah, that's my opinion. I would say don't use a switcher if you're going to use that to record. That's just my opinion. Use a switcher if you're going to live stream. Record to storage. Unfortunately, storage is like through the roof right now, which sucks. So I hope that addresses that question, scene of the conversation. Back to Chester. I'm not familiar with that term. What's round tripping? So it's kind of a production term. So basically, like if you use Final Cut to do a bunch of editing, but you want to do like you mentioned voice isolation and stuff like that, I would throw it in a different piece of software and then save it there and then bring it back in. That's what you call round tripping, where like you might export the audio out of, say, DaVinci and then bring it into like Adobe Audition, for example, or Audacity or whatever digital audio workstation DAW that you want to use, and then do your changes there, then save it and then bring it back in. The process of that is what you would refer to as round tripping. Kevin K is here. Word up and share it on Reddit. Cool. Yeah, I'm too lazy for that. And you know what the thing is? I'm too lazy for that. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's okay because like we're, software should be good enough that you shouldn't need to round trip as much. It should be pronounced cold round tripping. Yeah, for real, Kev. But yeah, back to the update. I want to get back to this. I actually want to show this off because I actually think this is pretty insane. So we were doing the text-based editing, right? And again, for those who are just joining, that SpliceKit Final Cut hack that I put in that I installed last week has been updated to 3.17 as of today. And we're doing the text editing. If I undo on the timeline, is it gonna pull everything back? Probably not. I didn't think so. You know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna let's start over. I'm gonna start over here. So I'm gonna bring my clip in, and then let's try deleting silences and see if that works. What did it do? Okay. Transcribe it. Okay. Delete silences. Okay, so it looks like it did it.
Let's start up here. We'll go Simulator Adventures.
Okay, it's a little liberal with the way it deletes silences, but here, let's just delete this.
We'll go.
I'm just gonna trim this.
So let's start up. Simulator.
Okay, I don't think this is good for deleting silences, but I mean,
let's start up. Simulator Adventures. Text. Start up. Let's start up here. Simulator Adventures. Text-based video editing could be massive in the future, but I wouldn't.
So you'll see, like, you can do text editing. Duke. Yeah, we were talking about like taking something from like Final Cut or DaVinci and then throwing it in a different piece of software to do a process, then bringing it back in. But we're talking about text-based editing now in Final Cut, or that's what I want to show you. But it's not really about text-based editing. It's about this hack that somebody made, SpliceKit. But watch this. There was an update from last week because I showed a little bit of this last week. I'm going to close the transcriber. One of the problems with Final Cut is captions. But again, and let me preface this. This is not final software. This is like, Apple could break this at any point because it's using a modified version of Final Cut to do it. But check this out. If I go to enhancements and I go to social captions, we can pick our font. We can pick a style. Let's see. Just found out DaVinci has transcription and text-based editing, so it's a little rough at the moment. I think DaVinci's had it for a while, if I'm being completely honest. But check this out. Actually, I want to show this off because I was like, I was very surprised because I've been on Reddit and I'll admit I have purchased a bunch of these plugins to do captioning in Final Cut to try to make my life easier. And they're all kind of clunky. Watch this. Let's go back here. When I'll close this for a sec. If I go up to enhancements, this is part of SpliceKit. I'm going to go to social captions. And I chose SF Pro display. I'll make the font just a touch bigger. You know what? We'll turn off all caps. I mean, that looks pretty good as it is. And you know what? We'll highlight word by word. So I'm going to click transcribe. It used parakeet and it transcribed it. Now, if I were to take my playhead, that's the thing I realized. You have to put your playhead at the beginning before you click generate captions. But then you'll see a bunch of titles popped up. Watch this.
Okay, so we're recording on the Shogun right now. And I'm just going to read random chats.
It looks good. It's a little delayed. So I'm just going to delete this bunch at the beginning. Let's see.
Okay, so we're recording on the Shogun right now. And I'm just going to read random chats that it came in. So let's start up here. Simulator Adventures. Text-based video editing could be...
That is insane. Like, and that's a free tool. And this is like, they just put it in. It's going to get better. That's so sick. Yeah, if you're doing short form content or you're doing content where you need to have like words on screen, that is nuts. Actually, I want to try something. Yeah, it has it baked in already, and that's kind of what I was getting at. Yeah, DaVinci has it baked in already. But that's the problem. We know this. Like that. Look, we don't need to reiterate this. Apple is effing stupid in how long they take to implement things. So this is like a third-party developer thing. But you know, Apple really needs to like. So remember this too, that they just bought Motion VFX, which is kind of bad news for DaVinci Resolve users because for those who relied on Motion VFX, I don't know if Apple's gonna, you know, keep updating DaVinci Resolve because the Motion VFX suite is insane. Like the stuff you can get with it is nuts. But here, let's go back to this editing. I want to try something. I'm gonna delete the captions. So I saw something in here. I'm new to Apple, traditionally a Windows user. Yeah, I get it. That's fine. Listen, I was a Windows user forever, so I completely understand where you're coming from. I saw something here though I want to see. So the animation typewriter. Back to the beginning. Put my volume down just a touch. We'll transcribe again. Generate captions. So the animation is typewriter. But what does that do?
Okay, so we're recording on...
Oh, they probably haven't even made anything with it yet.
Okay, so we're recording on the Shogun right now.
Even still, that's kind of nuts. I wonder... I do have add motion on here. If I were to take all these, apply add motion, and oh, I just want to try something here. I'm messing around. Bear with me. So if I were to take this and we're going to set you to take off as Expo, we'll make you 0.7 and our A position will leave it 0, but we'll bring you way down. That did nothing. Okay, wait. Undo all that. I did something stupid. Hang on. Go here. Add motion. I'm going to mess with something here. I want to see how well this works. Kevin comments, Blackmagic A10 Plus Mix Effect on iPad is the way. Is that for streaming or for recording? And the reason I bring this up is because I'm not a proponent of using a hard switcher because then your footage is burned in like that. And if you make a mistake, it's really disheartening when you film a good video and you're basically stuck with a bad switch, like where you chose the wrong thing. All right, 0.7. Okay, so that brings the title in from the left, but I don't want it to come in from the left. I want it to come in from the bottom, like there.
Okay, so we're recording on the...
You know what? I promise you what I'm doing is going to make sense in a second, everyone. Just make this a little faster. All right, so we're going to take this. Let's select the rest of our titles. Except the first one, and we're going to paste attributes. We're going to add motion. I'm just curious if this is going to work. Or am I going to break everything? We're only going to find out one way, right? I might have broke everything. While we're waiting. Blacklight will records all the feeds. Oh! It divides DaVinci a file with all the stuff. Okay, live switch program. Okay, so it makes like a multicam. That's pretty cool, actually, if that's the case.
Okay, so we're recording on the Shogun.
Okay, so that did not work the way I wanted it to, but there's potential there. So if I play this, it's going to look like seizure-inducing text, but eventually.
Okay, so we're recording on the Shogun right now. And I'm just going to...
Yeah, because there's a lot of breakups here. Oh, because you know what it's doing? It's the highlighting that's messing me up. Okay, hang on. Big brain Sean over here is going to try to do this properly. I copied those attributes earlier, so I'm just going to keep them. Social captions. Okay, we're going to turn off word by word highlighting. Okay. Make you a little bigger. Transcribe. Generate. Okay, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to select all my titles except for the SpliceKit thing. And I'm going to paste attributes. Oh, did it lose my... It did lose my attribute. And it crashed. And ladies and gentlemen, this is why we can't have nice things, because Apple will take forever to implement it. Yeah. Out of control. It sounds like it. It sounds like that's a dope workflow. Okay, so to answer if the user is still, or the user, if the viewer is still here, the scene of the conversation, A10 Mini, or what did Kevin suggest? It was ATEM ISO. Yeah, it looks like the ATEM ISO will record all the feeds. Kevin, how big's the storage, or what's the maximum supported storage in the ATEM ISO? And scene of conversation is still here. Okay, awesome. See, I can't comment on the YOLO Box Extreme. I know Tom Buck, the content creator who talks a lot about streaming and products like that. I think he's a YOLO Box guy. And then there's another gentleman who shoots a lot of Lumix content. I can't remember his name. He's in Australia. Oh, it's going to drive me nuts. His name's Shane. Okay, hang on. I'm going to look this up. I want to see who this guy is. Let's see here. Shane Lumix, content creator, YouTube. Shane B. Not Sean Robinson. Okay, so let's see here. Curious, are you mostly a streamer, videographer, photographer, or is this sort of a hobby? I'm new here, haha. Okay, so I'm a tech guy. I'm trying to do this tech YouTube thing. Not a photographer, not a videographer, and I'm not even a streamer. I'm a guy trying to do YouTube. I'm kind of a nerd, and I've learned a lot about cameras, and even saying that, I know nothing about nothing when it comes to cameras. Like, I'm just like really learning as I go. But yeah, I'm just learning as I go and taking everybody along for the ride. The G2, so yeah, that's to answer Chester's question. The G2 A10 Mini does have ISO, but not for 4K. The newest one takes cards. Kevin K says it only records 1080, but you can swap in 4K files recorded from cameras if needed. Crazy ecosystem. I dream. Geeky Nerdy Techie. That's the one, Hassan. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Sorry if that blew out everybody's eardrums. Geeky, nerdy, techie, YouTube. There we go. Yeah, I believe he has shown off the YOLO box. Easiest multicam live streaming and switching setup. YOLO box mini. YOLO box extreme 4K streaming and 4K ISO recording made easy from a year ago. A10 mini and YOLO box. Okay, so I hope that, and again, I don't want to play his videos because, like, you know, better he gets the monetization for that. But for the scene of the conversation, that's probably one good resource. Let's see. And Chester says, "Oh yeah, I love this guy's stuff, and also use Lumix stuff." Chester, what are you using? Curious, because I'm a Lumix guy. I'm on an S5 II right now, and the overhead is a GH5 Mark II with a broken HDMI port. So we are creatively using the USB-C out, and then I have a second S5 II, which is not connected at the moment. It's attached to an Edelkrone gym system, so I can shoot funky B-roll. Oh yeah, use a G9 too. Okay, so Micro Four Thirds. I'm thinking, right? You have 4K 120, don't you? Or is that the GH? No, it's a G9 too. I think. I think you have 4K 120. Your Micro Four Thirds. Yeah. Thanks, Hava. I'll have a look at his channel. No problem. I really hope that helps. Sorry I couldn't be better help, but I know Kevin is definitely a proponent of. Listen, if Kevin says something's good, it's good. If Kevin K says, like, hey, like, this is good, then I promise you it's probably pretty good from a technical standpoint. Absolutely. Chester Capture says on his G9 II, he has 4K 120 and 1080 300. Do those have autofocus by chance? I'm curious. I'm dreaming of the day that I'm going to, you know, remortgage the house and buy the whenever the hell it comes out, S1H Mark II. LOL, I do an unreasonable amount of window shopping online. Oh, you and I both, Kevin. You and I both. Yeah. Yeah, it's a problem. Yeah. I only got a few minutes left because I do have somewhere I have to be around 7:45. Okay, so 4K 120 does, and the 1080 300 does not. Is there a crop in your 4K 120 versus 4K 60 or 4K 30? Very curious about this because different people say different things, and like researching Lumix stuff is kind of a hot mess. The lens I'm using, by the way, it's the Lumix, the 50 millimeter, the Nifty 50 1.8. Autofocus seems to be working. Although I've learned that if you leave the camera on too long, phase detect freaks out. There was a stream I did for like no crop as far as I know, but it is restricted to 17:9. So I guess it's technically a crop. It just doesn't punch in on the image. Oh no, wait. Is it crop on the sides? I don't even know. But yeah, there's some hardware limitation causing the 17:9. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the phase detect. I did like a 3-hour live stream one day with this camera. But the problem is when I went to record a video directly after, I think it was the Elgato prompter follow-up where I started the video talking about the brightness because a user had commented about that. And that whole video, the autofocus is pulsing. And I'm like, the whole live stream was fine, really, but because I was running it for so long, the autofocus, it tripped out, right? And the thing is, I didn't even touch the camera. I actually used an Atomos Shogun Ultra on the side right here, right? I hit record here. I had a hard drive plugged into it, so I didn't even touch the camera. And then phase detect just lost its mind. Yeah, the G9 II, it's just not open gate. That's right. I bought tons of gear over the years. Don't make a lot of content. Gear acquisition syndrome is real. Chester concurs. Gas is so real. And for those who don't know what gas is, it's gear acquisition syndrome. I've had that issue with autofocus as well and fixed it for the most part. Yeah. My fix is turn the camera off, open the battery door, leave it for a little bit, and then things are fine. Like, yeah, like my GH5 Mark II is atrociously contrast-based autofocus, so it's just set to manual, so then that way I can, like, you know, punch in and, like, manually focus on things. You know what I mean? Just because I refuse to use autofocus on the GH5 Mark II. It's awful. Absolutely atrocious autofocus. Was the first like mirrorless camera I ever bought. Because I fell for it because I saw a video from the G5 or the GH5 and I was like, ooh, that's pretty, and didn't know better. And well, here we are. Although it's not a worthless camera, I just I have it doing a specific purpose. Like my overhead is I even know what ISO I'm at. Let me look. One sec. I'm set to ISO 4000 at f10, and I'm using the 20-60 Leica lens that came with it. Yeah, it's a Leica lens, right? I believe. Yes. Is that a Leica or Leica adjacent? I believe the kit lens was a Leica 12-60, which is kind of nuts. But yeah, for an overhead camera, it's great. I just the only problem is like I have to go to f10 because like this key light, like right here, like you can see how bright, how blown out my hand's getting, because I've got like a huge. It's not even a softbox. It's a light dome. I do that because if I use a softbox, like I get like harsh shadows and it's super annoying. I fine-tune the autofocus settings in the menus to make it less twitchy, and then make sure to use single focus for talking head instead of constant. How has my autofocus been through the stream? Like, I have the box set where it's like up here, so I feel like it's been pretty good. Trying to remember what my settings were. I saved them as presets. I saved them across both of my S5 IIs. I can't remember what it is. Yeah, but I feel like the autofocus right now is good. The only problem is if I put my hand in front of my face. It's been solid for the last 10 minutes. Okay, good. Now, if I do this, welcome to the hellscape. We're going to come back. Let's see. I'm going to look at myself in the preview or on the... Oh, it looks like it came back. Because I set the box, like, for talking head because I framed myself like this. I just set the box to, like, as high in the center as I could go, like, as high on the y-axis, but I kept the X in the center for coordinates, people. You're welcome. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the autofocus is pretty good. It's not Sony level. And all these, like, clickbaity ass YouTubers that are like, Lumix autofocus is better than Sony. Like, get real. I don't know. I think I have Stockholm syndrome. That's why I've allowed myself to go to Lumix. It's funny, though. We were talking about DaVinci Resolve and color grading. The LUT that you're looking at right now, this is in ProRes. Sorry, I'm sending ProRes RAW to my Shogun Ultra, and I'm using a LUT to convert it to 709, so you can see. That's exactly what I'm doing. It's funny, great minds, huh? I'm curious on streaming. Could you use Vlog and convert in real time with a real time LUT pipeline? Watch this. Here, little inside baseball for you. I'm gonna turn. That's the raw output. Right? So this is coming off of my Shogun, right? So it's Vlog ProRes RAW. If I hit record, it's like 2 terabytes. Yeah, 2 terabytes is like an hour and 43 minutes, which is like insanely bad. Would you consider the YOLO Live S3 for autofocus webcam over the Panasonic? I can't comment on that because I've never used it. Look, I think Lumix, when they adopted phase detect a few years ago in the S5 series, the S5 II series, and then beyond, when I said it's not as good as Sony, let me clarify that. It's way better than it was. I've seen people shooting with Fuji and Nikon, however you feel to pronounce that. And I feel like the Lumix system is very good. I think Gerald did like a really crazy stress test with Lumix and was like, wow, the autofocus is holding. So it's gotten a lot better in the last few years. The YOLO Live S3, I don't know what the autofocus performance is like. I'll be honest, like in terms of some of these other cameras, not that I have anything against like the YOLO Live S3 or the OBSBot, and I've seen a bunch of these cameras, but I haven't looked into them deeply because I haven't had a need to. Because again, I own 2 S5 Mark IIs, and I want to get a third because I want to do a BTS thing, like a behind the scenes thing. I don't know if it's something that would go on Patreon or if it's like whatever, but like just to have another S5 II that doesn't overheat, because none of my S5 IIs overheat. I've never got them to overheat, which is great. It'd just be nice that when I'm working on like a very in-depth video to have like a way to shoot footage that's in the background. I would say Lumix Tech autofocus is a bit the same as the last gen Sony's bar last gen Sony. The A1 and A barring the A1 and A2 cameras, but same as like the FX30, the FX3, A7 III, A7S3, etc. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, like I feel like current Lumix. Yeah, I agree. I think current Lumix. Again, that's from somebody who's messed around with some of those cameras at very little amounts. Oh, my laundry's done. I can hear the chime going off, which is a sign that I gotta run. But yeah, the last generation Sony autofocus is like what the new Lumix autofocus seems like. I want to mess around with an S1R Mark II. I really want to see what happens with this S1H Mark II. I'm wondering why Lumix Panasonic is taking so long to release that camera. Yeah. I think the problem is that like video shooters are very divided. Some people want a box style camera, some people want a mirrorless, some people want something like the S1 or the S5 II, you know, but like with all these crazy features like an optical low pass filter and like all this crazy stuff, you know. 8K 120 and 12K 60 and, you know, not even open gate, just explosion gate. I want to try the Blackmagic Pocket 6K. Is it PC Pocket? Is that what you're referring to? I want to try Blackmagic 6K. Yeah, the Pocket series, like those cameras look interesting. I saw there was a Blackmagic thing where it was a firmware update that enabled phase detect, which I thought was very interesting. That was like maybe a couple of months ago I saw that. That was pretty cool. That was pretty awesome to see. Yeah. Yeah. We're geeking out on cameras. I don't know. We're talking about all sorts today. Well, we were, because I do have to jump off. One, I have to hang laundry and I actually have to head out for a little bit. I have another commitment. So I kind of tried to squeeze the live stream between the commitment. But for those who came for the first time, because I feel like a few of you, like Chester and Scene of the Conversation, you guys came in for the first time. I say guys as if you're male. You could be female. I don't know. I'm not generalizing. I just tend to say guys a lot. I typically stream at 3 p.m. Eastern, not 6 p.m. Eastern. This was a little bit different today just because I had some commitments earlier in the day I had to tend to. Yeah, so if you want to come back on next week, I do this every week, 3 p.m. on Sunday. I will always put up a YouTube community post. Yeah, I usually put up like a community post if I'm going to change anything. I did throw as oh my god, what was his name? He's on my Instagram. He commented earlier. I feel so bad. Hassan? Was it Hassan? I think it was Hassan. Yeah, Hassan saw my Instagram story that I was like, hey, we're starting at 6 today. Yeah, it's the Pocket Cinema 6K and it has internal ND filters. Anyway, bro, I'll get subbed and see you next time. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate that. And see how the conversation says thanks a bunch. I am a dude. All right, cool. Again, I don't want to be like you know, oh, did it hide? No, just YouTube chat's tripping out. Yeah, I don't want to generalize because there was one time I did that and then I was like, wait a minute. Are you a dude or are you not a dude? And the person was like, I'm a girl. And I was like, my bad. And you know, I don't want to disclude anybody. We know the tech space is male dominated, right? But I don't ever want to feel anybody doesn't feel included in the conversation because we're all here to learn and have fun and talk tech and, you know, be geeks together, I guess. Duke, I'm also a dude. Yes. And you're married to a very smart woman. I can't remember the reason for that joke. I think I said something that was making fun of you, and you're like, my wife says the same thing. And I was like, yeah, your wife's smart. No, but I am going to jump off. But I want to thank you guys for coming. Guys and girls. See, I just did it again. I want to thank everybody. Hassan, yes. watching. Listen, don't get in trouble at work. You're working while watching. No, I super appreciate everybody coming in. I like that I'm building like a team of regulars, people who want to hear me babble and go on about things and try Final Cut updates and crash the computer or crash the app on the stream. And you know, you better be on time next week. Hey, I put up a community post and an Instagram story that said that I was going to be jumping on at 6:00 today. You better be on time next week, 3 p.m. And I think you're 2 hours behind, Duke, so 1 p.m. And if you're 3 hours behind, 12 p.m. Hassan says Osmo Pocket 4 is coming out soon. Rumors are Pocket 4 Pro as well in the next few months. Interesting. Take care from Bermuda. I'm not on Instagram. I'm 46. I'm 46. But come on. Yeah, but you're on YouTube. You should have seen the post. I mean, YouTube's algorithm for serving the community post is awful, so I get that. Duke said, well said. I was biting my tongue, Kevin says. All right. No, this is a safe for work stream. Plus, I work from home. Yeah. Safe for work stream. There should be a day where I just drop F-bombs all day and just demonetize the channel. No, we're not doing that. But what we are going to do is jump off because I got to run. I got a few things I got to handle, take care of. But thank you guys so much, and girls. 3 p.m. next Sunday, we are going to be back on the Tech Mixer channel. For those who use Instagram or... actually, no, we won't do it on Instagram. If you have a topic you want to talk about, comment on one of the YouTube community posts. If you have a topic you want to talk about next Sunday. And if it fits and I'm knowledgeable about the subject, or we can have a good narrative about it, we'll talk about that next Sunday. We can make the whole stream around that, because sometimes I struggle with things to come up with to talk about on these streams. So if you got any ideas, throw them in the community post on the Tech Mixer YouTube channel. But in the meantime, you know what this means. My name is Sean. This has been Tech Mixer. Thank you guys so much. A new video is coming. As a little bit of a teaser, I'm going to pull this back up super quick so I can show Kevin K specifically. Kevin. I can't get this working. I'm struggling. This is the timeline for that crazy project I told you about. And this is one of many timelines for the crazy project that I told you about. Pretty damn insane. Let me do this so you can actually see it. Yeah, it's ambitious. It's kind of hardcore, and I can't wait to release it. So I am going to get on out of here. Again, thank you everybody for coming in. Comment on a community post if you have a topic you want to talk about next Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sunday. My name is Sean. This has been Tech Mixer, and I'm out. Peace.